Yo, 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 yo. What up? Goddess of the universe here. How's everybody doing today? Well, I'm doing amazing. Thank you for asking. With that being said, I want to talk about I'm a spiritual guru, right? So I read tarot, I'm a psychic, I like to speak to the living, and I also speak to the dead. They speak to me. I don't really speak to them. But when they speak, I speak back. So it's all good. Right? So with that being said, you're going to see all different type of stuff on my channel. Okay? A lot of people do not like to talk about spirituality. Okay? But unfortunately, which is really fortunately, I do. I enjoy it. Okay? I love spirituality. It is not just a way, but it is a lifestyle. And with that being said, it's all I like to talk about. But then I meet people and I be trying to put them on to the stuff that I know, and they don't be wanting to hear it because they not woke. And I get that. We are all going on different paths on our spiritual journey. I feel you. But on my path, I have did so much in my life. I done been to hell and back, and I'm thankful. So, with that being said, I like to walk and talk and just tell people good things and positive things, and no matter what we're going through, to let them know you too gonna make it. You dig? Like, it's really your mindset, is how you think. So, with that being said, today's episode is gonna be on what? The law of attraction. So let me tell you how cool the law of attraction is. Now, the law of attraction is nothing but prayer, right? It is you asking the universe for something, whatever that is. When at the end of the day, the universe, which is also known as God, the Most High, already know what you need, right? It's just a matter of you asking, or do you know what you mean? Because with this human experience, all right, we are all walking on our individual journey as a collective, as a divine feminine, as myself, hence goddess of the universe. Hello. I try to enlighten people, not forcefully though. Like, I don't just go around just pushing my belief systems on anybody, because that's not the God I serve. The God I serve is a free will, right? But when people ask me questions because of who I am and how I carry myself and show up in the world, it's always some type of uh, teachable moment, because as a life learner, we always have to have teachable moments, right? Right. So I start dropping my jewels, like, whatever the problem is. And then also, as a ambassador for God, the Most High, I like to share my gifts by allowing the Lord to use my vessel. So I figure there's no coincidence with anything. When a person meet me or I meet a person, it is divinely orchestrated, okay? There's no coincidence. But I won't know what it is until it actually transpires, of course. So it'll be maybe to give them a channel message. Maybe God needs to speak to you directly. I like to say that I walk this earth as evidence of God. Because a lot of people believe and a lot of people don't believe. But I had a near death experience a couple of years ago. I was driving. I'm a professional driver. All right. Went to driving school and everything. I'm going to hit y'all with this story time real quick. So I was driving. I was in the South and I was doing long hours because as a professional driver, I'm already used to driving long hours. Now, legally we are not allowed to drive, but so many hours because sleep is so important. But so me, the world that I work in, I do security as well. So as a emergency response fire life safety director, shout out to the security industry. You heard FSD in the building. All right. Okay. In that field, you work non-traditional hours, right? So I'm used to working long hours. I'm a professional driver, and I'm used to staying up. So I call myself driving. You know what I mean? From VA, Virginia Beach, all the way to North Carolina. And I thought it was a game, you know what I mean? I thought it was really something I could do. Well, anyway, not knowing how fatigued I was because, I drink coffee too. That comes with the industry. So we be so geeked up on coffee. You may not know how tired you are. So I'm doing me. And I must have fell asleep behind the wheel. I didn't remember falling asleep, but that's usually how sleep gets you. So I fell asleep behind the wheel and I drove my car into a ditch. But it wasn't just driving into the ditch. The car was still driving through the ditch. Okay. So now I'm just driving and it's just hitting everything. So at this point in time, of course, I'm fucking up. I'm no longer sleeping. At least that's what I think. And and it just kept hitting everything like boom, boom, boom. It's just hitting mad shit. And I'm holding the car and I'm like, what the fuck? You know what I mean? Trying to stop it, but the speed that it's going at this point in time, it will not reduce. Like, I don't know what the fuck is happening, but I guess one of them bumps made my car not operate right at that moment because it just wouldn't reduce the speed. And it just kept going until it hit like a lamp post. And thank God the way it hit it, it just stopped the car though. But my glass was all shattered, and I was just sitting there, and I was like, "What the fuck?" And so anyway, I had to get out the car, so I climbed out the window, and I found myself in the middle of nowhere, and I had a little amnesia. I didn't know what was going on, and I wound up getting lost in the woods for a few days and stuff like. That's a story for another time. I'm not really ready to share the lady in the woods story. But either way, thank God I made it, but the car did not. Ugh. I didn't know what the car looked like because I was somewhere in the woods. And when they finally found me, the officers that found me, I guess because they was looking for the person, the driver. You know what I mean? They see a car in the fucking ditch but they don't see the driver. And then I had like my IDs and everything in the car because I seen no sense of walking with it when I was in the middle of nowhere. So I wound up going, getting found, and they took me to the local hospital, and the officers that was called was like, wait a minute, I think that she might be the person we're looking for because there was a car that was totaled found in the fucking ditch. So they come over to me and they start asking me like what happened, like how did you get here? And I really didn't remember at that moment, so I didn't have nothing to say. I just kept telling him I don't remember. And then the cop was like, hey, did you have a car accident? And I was like, I think so. He was like, is it red? And I'm like, maybe. Like, I really don't know what he's talking about. I'm just happy not to be outside. So it was a lot of trauma I was going through at that time. And then he showed me a picture of my car. It was so crazy. It was like damn near bald-headed strip. Like, you would have thought that you took it to one of them, like, chop shops, the way it looked. Mind you, it was a brand new car. I had just got it off the lot maybe like 6 months prior. So it was crazy. And that started my spiritual journey. Like, then all of a sudden, I always had spiritual gifts my whole life. But I really didn't know what they were. Right? But I would always, speak to voices and things of that nature. And when you tell that to regular people, they automatically think something's wrong with you. Like you're crazy or something, but it's not that. It's that you just have gifts, and the gifts are there to help people, not to be selfish. So I wound up getting a little case of amnesia, but ever since that near death experience, life has been, I would say, vaguely odd. Not odd to me because I enjoy the gifts that I have. but vaguely odd to other people because, you meet me and by how I look, the industry that I'm in, the things that I do, in security, I can't have this color hair. So I'm more, natural. But naturally, you just don't expect half of the things to come out my mouth that's going to come out my mouth, right? And then next year, I just start talking about God, spirituality, law of attraction, all type of stuff. And that's what we're going to talk about in this segment, right? The law of attraction. Now, I didn't track that accident, but maybe I did because of the things that I was doing. But at the time, you never know. But the law of attraction is so fascinating because it's totally a prayer, right? You're telling the universe what you want, and the universe is going to give it to you, right? Depends on what you want. Now, I made a video yesterday, but I didn't post it. And I was like, now, what if you just wish that you had a gazillion trillion dollars, right? Okay. They say prayer without work is dead. So don't be shocked after that wish if it's destined for you, if it gets answered and a bunch of opportunities come flooding in your direction, right? Confirmation. Y'all hear that noise in the background. That's confirmation from the king, like, yes. Okay, but you got to be able to have that type of ambition and drive, because if you don't have that type of ambition and drive, you won't get up and go get those opportunities or seize those opportunities so you can become that multimillionaire you wanted to be, right? Okay, so that's how the law of attraction is. It's really a matter of your mindset. What you focus on will multiply, and what you ask for, the universe will co-create with you so that can come into fruition. The problem is sometimes we can wish for something and then cancel it out at the same time. 1 minute we like, hey, we want all of this, and then 5 minutes later we like, we really not going to get all of that. You just told the universe you wasn't sure, you're not certain if you want that, so why would they give that to you? Right. So you have to be focused on, you have to have intentions and clear mindedness with the things that you pray for, which are the things that you focus on, which will be what you attract into your life. Right? You start with something like as simple as a cup of coffee. Right. Okay. You want a cup of coffee. You don't have the money for the coffee, but you want the coffee. That's a clear intention. Like, hey, I need some coffee. All of a sudden, somebody will offer you coffee. You go to work. There's a bunch of free coffee. They happen to have a party that day. Not only did you get coffees, you got coffees and donuts. You're like, heck, I didn't even ask for all that. Well, anyway, that's how the universe works. God will give you way more than what you ask for if it's ordained for you to ask for it or if it's ordained for it to be in your life. The problem is sometimes prayers never expire. You could have wished for something a long time ago. And because of the things that you was doing along your journey, you wished for something that was not ready for you at that time. But once it was ready for you at that time, it showed up. That wish can seem like a burden if you're not ready for it. But God knows when you're ready for it. So he'll give it to you. And you might say, hey, God, I wasn't ready for this. When I asked for it then, I was. No, you really wasn't. Because that's how our journey is in life. Like, my gifts, I get visions and I get premonitions, right? So a premonition is like a short vision. If you touch something, if you interact with something, if I talk to somebody, I might just get a channel vision to tell them something, right? Okay. But my prophecies, my psychic abilities might be something that I see now, but it is a long time before it actually comes into fruition. Right? That's law of attraction too. Like, I see something that was attracted to me, but it wasn't the time yet. Right. So sometimes people see me doing that and they think I'm like daydreaming. Because when I talk to God, which I do, and direct connect, you heard, to the Miss High, Thank you, God. When I talk to God, it'll freeze me. And to other people, it'll just look like I'm daydreaming. Right. It's funny because I have one of my kids, he does it all the time. And they really think he don't even believe in God, which is not true. But he'll even say it. Like, I don't really believe. I'm like, anyway. Listen, you raise them. It's their free will to do what they want. I teach all my kids Jesus Christ is the Lord and Savior, the Most High. We love him. Either way, he's always daydreaming. Like, he's always... So everybody always said, why he's always daydreaming? And I'd be like, because he's talking to God. Even though he don't know that's what he's doing. Right. Back to this law of attraction. An optimistic mind will get you all the things that you want. But a pessimistic mind won't. Now, it's the same intentions because our emotions, Menachem's law, is a chart of your emotions from high to low. Right? And the intentions is what allows the wish to come through. Right. Ask and you shall receive. Right. Seek and you shall find. Right. Knock and the door will be open. Glory to God. So with that being said, that is what the law of attraction is. And a lot of people don't understand that. But when you focus your mind on things that you do not want, more of the problems than the solutions, it throws off the whole thing of what you really desire. Because the universe don't know the difference between you joking and not joking. Psych your mind, channel 9, I was just playing. No. You ever been so upset and you just focus on the outcome, worst case scenario, like, oh, I just know this is going to happen. I just know this is going to happen. And then it fucking happened. And then you be sitting here like, oh, I just knew it was going to happen. No, it wasn't going to happen because you studied it with clear intentions and focused so hard, you made that shit come into fruition. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you did. You did. I know most people say that. They'll be like, but how did I make this come into fruition? I didn't want this to go into fruition. Yeah, because that is how the law of attraction works. What we focus on will come into fruition. Me personally, I'm always using my imagination. Imagery in motion, that is what imagination is, which is your emotions being visualized. Yeah, I didn't even know that. We learn something new every day, especially on this channel, okay? This is the learning channel. Such a vibe. Either way. Imagery in motion, imagination. I always use my imagination to imagine the best possible outcome, right? I live there, okay? It's a beautiful day in my neighborhood all the time, even if it's storming. I don't like to look like the things I've been through. So I put on my happy face and I stay so hopeful when it comes to whatever the obstacle is, whatever the challenge is, whatever the barrier is. You know how some people be like, your haters make you greater? It's so true. Because say the haters don't want me to do something and I detect it, I will totally not only do it, but want to do it to the best. Just because they didn't want me to do it. Now, maybe I didn't want to do it neither. Had no interest in it. Like, you know what? I'm going to just give this up. I don't even like it. But just because other people was like, I hope she fails. I hope she gives it up. Now I'm back in the fucking ring. Now I got to stay around. Now I got to do it and do it even more amazingly because you didn't want me to do it. Law of attraction. Their law of attraction versus my law of attraction. So the